Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about Ahsoka, Season 1, Episode 6, Far, Far Away. But not too far away are my co-hosts, Gaz, how you doing?
I'm alright.
And a little bit further than Gaz, Cheeto, how you doing?
Yay, Thrawn!
Yeah, about goddamn time too.
Right?
So, yeah, right. I mean, considering we're in episode 6, we've got 2 more episodes after this. But regardless, we not only got Thrawn, we got 2 for the price of 1 today. We got Ezra Bridger as well. So I think everyone's going to be a little bit happy now that we've got a couple of characters that we've only ever seen in animation and heard of in books, and now finally they are in the flesh as live action characters. Now, before we go on about that, did you like the beginning of this episode where we're still in the space worlds and they're going through space? We see like this warp sort of thing. It reminds me very much of Star Trek when they're going through warp drive and stuff like that. But we hear about the history of the universe, and Hu Yang, he does the old, well, in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Did you roll your eyes up to that shit? Or did you say, yeah, look, he did the thing, Gaz?
I mean, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
It was very eye rolly. It's like, what's the word? It's like, really breaking the fourth wall now, are we? And to be honest, like, he didn't really bring it into the like, for example, I mean, if he was there and he was telling a story that we haven't heard, maybe he was saying a story of the Old Republic. That would have been more interesting. But it was just like, well, I thought episode 1 was more better. I was just like, oh, for heaven's sake! I want to start throwing things at the.
I mean, for me, it's not as cringy as they've gotten with the whole "I've got a bad feeling about this" or "I've got a bad feeling." Like, at least this is the first. I think this is really the first time we've ever heard, at least that I've heard of, in a galaxy far, far away. You know, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I'll give them a pass this once. At least they don't like do it in every series somewhere. Unlike, fucking, bad feeling. I'm tired of hearing about feelings.
Fair enough. I mean, look, we got another anecdote as well, like the old "We had a deal, Balin," and I'm hoping Balin would say, "Pray don't alter the deal," or some shit like that, you know. Which he didn't say, thank God, to tell you the truth, but still, that antidote was there for sure. So yeah, we got a couple of those.
We also got our "I've got this" moment or whatever, in this movie as well. Yeah,
who says that? Who says that all the time?
Well, I mean, any woman in any Disney thing will say that, but yeah, I mean, I think it was.
Oh yeah, because Ginger brings it up a lot.
Yeah, I think it was Sabine somewhere. Well, like, I think she was when she was fighting the Raiders. She's like something like, "I've got this" or something like that. I'm like, oh, Ginger's gonna love that.
Here it is.
Speak of the angel.
Yes, I got this moment as well.
Look, I got with that fucking mustache.
That's the phrase.
I don't want to order a fucking cappuccino from your ass. You know what I mean?
Hey, no problem, eh?
But I've got to say that, like, right, the one thing that I've got to say that this particular series has done so far for me personally is has made me kind of be more sad about the death of Ray Stevenson, because, like, he is magnificent. And to be honest with you, I'm going to say this now. I'd rather he was the main villain than Thrawn, because he's already kind of kicked Ahsoka's ass. He's kind of like, he's already like kind of like this sort of like malevolent presence, but we kind of don't know where he's coming from with everything. I just rather he was the main villain in this because he's just magnificent in every scene he's in. But I will also
I'm liking the fact that I'm liking the fact that he is more than just a villain. Like you don't know where his loyalties may lie by the end of the series, and that in itself is quite intriguing than just playing the mustache twirling villain, which obviously From has definitely become in this show. Did you guys like the space ring around that planet of Dathomir being made out of the fucking dead bodies of fucking space whales? Was that all right with you, Ginger? Was that
Yeah, it
appealing?
was all right. It was a nice little touch rather than being rocks. It's just the space whales caught up in the gravity of that planet. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I want to say something else, but talk about the space rings first, and then I'll go back to something.
No,
I mean, I
go
thought
on,
it
go
was a
on.
nice
Go
little change. You know, it was a nice little surprise where it's like, you know, it was like, oh, and I mean, you know, they basically say where the space whales go to die, so it kind of makes sense. So
treating them like elephants, like it's an elephant graveyard,
Yeah,
isn't
like
it?
an elephant graveyard. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, Daniel Vance.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to
Yeah.
come back to what Gary said, and it's really hard. It's even more heartbreaking with Ray Stevenson passing, given that this show is possibly like his magnum opus. Because I mean, I thought, with everything that he's done since Rome, I thought like Titus Pulo was like he peaked there, and then we just liked him in whatever it was afterwards, but he never really stood out as he did say in Rome. But in this, like for me, he's one of the best additions to Star Wars in a long, long time. Like his presence is so commanding, but his demeanor is just so calm. I think there's a contrast between him and say the sister, who's very like so irritating. Like I really want to slap her because her facial expressions are so pantomime. Her villainy is so pantomime. And then you have Ray
Morgan
Stevenson.
Elsper.
Yeah, like can't stand her. But you have Ray Stevenson, and also his apprentice is great as well because trying to learn off of this guy who's like not quite Sith, not quite Jedi, and all this kind of stuff. And if he survives this season, then it's just devastating that we're not going to see this character again.
Look, we need to look. Unfortunately, it is unfortunate regarding Ray Stevenson, but we can recast. There is one person who is being recasted and is kind of like still playing the character from the same era, and that's the woman who plays Mon Mothma. Yeah, so we can do it. It's not what people necessarily want, but if we want to keep this character going, then we need a recast. Who would do it?
Mean,
because Ray Stevenson has a magnificent presence about him. He's a big fucking guy.
If he survives, then they will have to recast him, and I think it'll be okay. If they did, unless they get some weird permission to kind of digitally use his face, but I don't want that.
No,
I'd rather
just recast
him. It's fine, but don't get some pantomime twat. Get somebody of an equal kind of caliber of acting to do that. And his stuff was just the most interesting thing in this episode, like talking about trying to break that cycle of the hero's journey, and then there's the good, the evil. There's always the cycle of empires and Jedi's rising and all this kind of stuff. I just thought, they could have just made the whole series on this guy, and everyone would have just been like, "Oh my god, Andor, and this is amazing." That's just well written, just love it, just love him. The rest of the stuff is like, I could take it or leave it.
Okay, so we'll quickly say howdy to Wayward Demon, who's on Kick. Howdy, Wayward Demon. Nice to have you here. Go on, Cheetah.
I know, yes, Vance. Yeah, I know they're taken from the Greek fates. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that a bit later regarding some of the imagery. But Cheetah, you had something to say?
Speaking of, I was going to bring up recasting. And I mean, we're just kind of bringing stuff up and talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want, yeah.
I am not really feeling not Mads Mikkelsen. The
Last
Mikkelsen. Like
last Mikkelsen.
I'm not feeling him as Thrawn. I'm really not.
I'm with you.
I get that they wanted to take, because he's the voice actor for Thrawn, and from what I understand, he did a great job on Rebels. But it's like, this is the and this is actually Ginger's. This is where I have to give Ginger credit, where he says it's just all it is fan service. Like, one second, Gary, or Gaz. All it is fan service for Rebels. Hey, this is the voice of Thrawn. We're going to shoehorn him into this role no matter what, even if he looks like a blue Elon Musk. And I'm like, the voice acting was fine from what I've seen of Thrawn. I haven't watched Rebels, but I've seen clips enough to know he did okay. But I just don't feel that presence of Thrawn that I feel like, with this. Like, I feel like they should have gotten someone else, like they did with Ahsoka. They didn't hire the voice actress who played Ahsoka to play Ahsoka. Like, they got Rosario Dawson, who's great. But yeah, they really should have. I think they should have gone with somebody else for Thrawn. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gaz.
Yeah, I absolutely 1,000% agree. Nothing against Lars Mikkelsen. He is a very good, very talented actor. Like, he probably was in one of the best episodes of the late Sherlock episode where he played a character in that, where it was pretty terrifying in that. It's just that it just doesn't seem to have the gravitas for it. It was almost like everybody else had it and he didn't. It was like, and it doesn't against him. I just think he was. I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it's just. He's not that
his
kind of.
Forehead is menacing. I mean.
I don't know.
It looked like Blue Data if you look closely.
Yeah.
Blue Data, Blue Musk, Grand Admiral Musk. Like,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
no, I'm willing personally to give him I'm willing to give him a chance just to see. It's a bit early days, so we're not going to draw my conclusions too soon. But I will say that in the books, he has a very different demeanor. He's he's trying to pull off a similar demeanor in there with his hands behind his back, and he looks straight. But there's a regimented sort of British sort of admiral vibe about him in the books. He's a lot stronger and a lot more bellowing with his talking, while he's a very subtle here.
It's
this.
a hard thing.
It's a different vibe to it. Yeah, it's a different I'm trying to see if I can portray the image of a British military man. Like, now see here, Sergeant, I would like you to do this, that, and the other, and make sure that you do this right now on the jiffy, or something like that. I'm very bad at doing so imitations, but it's something more. He has a real. He has a real. He's very, very. He really stands out when he talks. Very regimented. He's very subtle here, but he has a style about him that is also regimented in its own way. Like I said, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm not hating on it. I'm not hating on it at all. I don't mind it. I was a bit concerned, because he's not the most renowned of actors, even though he's a good actor. But we'll see how but this is a massive fucking character. The biggest character he's ever played in his entire career. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So I hope he pulls it off. Nevertheless, but yeah.
Sorry, go on, Sam. Before I kick.
No, go. Yeah, go. I'll talk about something else in a sec.
Yeah, I'll say I didn't hate him. Honestly, I didn't hate him. The look might not be right, but I found the, when I was watching him, I was just reminded of Thrawn from Rebels. That I really was.
Yeah, that's how he was. Yeah,
from Rebels. That's the vibe I got, and I rather enjoyed his performance than that. Yes, I know the look is not right, but I thought the delivery was very much in line with Rebels and how he is in that.
I'll say maybe it's just because Thrawn for me was always back in like the TIE Fighter games, like Zam was saying, more of like a stoic but a bellowy. Like it's hard to nail.
Yeah, he was. This is Rebels is Thrawn.
Yeah, I know.
This is the Rebels Thrawn. I get what you guys are saying, but for me, it was a literal transfer from animation to live action. in that regard. So I'm okay with that. Again, I wasn't a fan of the Rebel series. You know, Ezra and Sabine were fucking annoying in that. And well, Sabine's carried on that torch in this series because, quite frankly, she is just no. No. And in
Sabine.
this episode, you know, the action scenes were great with her. Like I thought her action scenes were awesome.
Mhm.
So we could talk about that. So you know, what did you guys think of the stormtroopers as well? Sorry, Zam, I don't know if you asked earlier.
Well, no. Well, listen, there's some critical comment here. Thrawn thinks 100 steps ahead, so he's always calm, cool, collected. If you see emotion, you're in trouble. No. I mean, don't get me wrong. He is, in a way, not just saying that he's emotional, but he's not. I'm not saying he's animated, but he has a different vibe about him. Like he does sound like your classic British, high-ranking military personnel. And it's just a different vibe to him there. But look, before I get on to the troopers, I just want to say, when we finally saw Thrawn's Star Destroyer coming into Dathomir, and that section of the ship lining itself up with that building they're on, which is very Lord of the Rings, by the way. It's like a castle built in stone, and there's a lot of Lord of the Ring vibes in this episode regarding some of the monuments and stuff like that, and obviously magic and shit like that, and people calling fucking Ahsoka, Ahsoka the White and all that shit. But regardless, without me going too much of a tangent, seeing that ship, you can see that they've had to do a lot of modifications whilst they were in that part of space. It looked like they had gold, in the ship. They put obviously markings on the bottom, and then you see the stormtroopers, who I'm not even sure if they are actual stormtroopers or if they are zombified fucking Night Sister creatures. It's hard to say. But once again, we've got another, sort of unique stormtrooper as well in Enoch with the fucking face mask. Kind of reminds me of that incest kid from fucking Excalibur. Have you seen it? Tell me you've seen Excalibur,
Oh,
please.
yeah.
Yeah. His
The
son.
one that covered his whole body in like gold or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but he ends up fucking his sister, King Arthur.
Yeah.
King Arthur fucks his sister, and then she has her son, and he wears that mask, which it reminded me of that a little bit. But then the whole Roman vibe about it, Greek vibe about it too. It was eerie,
Greeks.
different. So I like the differences of it. Sorry, guys, go on.
Yeah, I really like that. I love the unique design of the kind of gold against the white. I kind of like the fact that the stormtroopers were kind of like had like sort of like almost like dirty kind of like dirty look. There wasn't as prestige as they were in the original trilogy. And I was like thinking. I was actually thinking, well, are they original stormtroopers or are they like new recruits that kind of Thrawn has managed to get here? And that's something that I was interested in. Like, I'm wondering like who Enoch is and all this sort of stuff. And
You know what the funniest thing is, guys, is that so far, apart from Enoch, who's also a stormtrooper in his own right, there didn't seem to be any other Imperial officers on that ship. So
Well,
I wonder how
that kind of lends to why we think it's like resurrected people, because they don't want to be showing their faces and stuff. It's just like the last Inquisitor, like they didn't show his face because he's supposed to be like resurrected or whatever.
Yeah, and the suits are like kind of tied together to stop them from splitting, so the essence kind of just stays within.
Yeah, all of that. And some people are saying that because when they were loading up, they looked like they were loading up coffins, which could be the carcasses of the people of the stormtroopers as well. And obviously, Thrawn mentioned that he didn't have many stormtroopers when he was looking for when he obviously sent Sabine on that trip just to follow her, which is a classic Empire type of move. But we don't see Ahsoka or anything like that now for the rest of this episode. It's fully on these particular guys. Balin and Shin Hoti, calling her Hoti, they have some interesting moments in this because I feel like I think Balin has a different plan to why he's doing this, and he mentioned earlier on regarding him having a calling, which I'm not sure if you guys picked up on that. Like, can you feel the calling? There's something calling to me. Now, I don't know what that could be. I mean, that's something very interesting.
Taco Bell. It's calling.
Any theories on that, fellas?
Well, I mean, maybe the origins of the Force is kind of tied to that galaxy, and the calling he feels is like something to do with that.
I was thinking maybe something to do more with the Sith, because obviously it's a Dathomir planet. I don't think that's the actual planet Dathomir though, because the actual planet Dathomir is in the. I mean, it's
Dathomir in the main galaxy.
Yeah, it's in the main galaxy, but they do
what's
talk about it being
called Dathomir.
Huh?
What's Dathomir?
Wasn't that planet called Dathomir?
I don't think it was called Dathomir. I think it was close, or they said it's Dathomirian planet, but it's not Dathomir.
Yeah.
Mexico.
Okay.
No,
Mexico.
No.
That was the Rise of Skywalker planet.
Yeah.
The Sith planet. That's what I'm talking about.
Dathomir is a galaxy. Dathomir was where the witch sisters came, or whatever. The what are they called? The
sisters.
Yeah, like that's where those, because they actually explored it pretty thoroughly in Fallen Order, like Jedi Fallen Order. I don't know how canon that is, or how
it's
how
canon.
how they wrecked the canon, but I mean, Dathomir's a big thing in the Sith and the sisters, and I think Darth Maul too.
I mean, if they do call that Dathomir, then it could just be the original Dathomir, and wherever they landed in the main Star Wars galaxy, they end up calling it that. I just can't remember.
That is the home planet. That is the home planet of the Night Sisters. It does seem that Thrawn is in control. It does seem like Thrawn is 100% in control, because as soon as Morgan Elsbeth found him, they said, "Okay, I'm working under your ass." And so the Night Sisters, they all seem to be working for him.
They did make it seem like that, though.
There you go. I was right. Yeah, Dathomir in the main galaxy was named after the planet they came from. I thought so.
Okay.
So they're both called Dathomir. Okay, so that's not confusing at all.
It makes sense. No, it makes sense.
New York.
Yeah.
City and state.
New York and New York.
New York.
New York.
What was I gonna say? Damn it! Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, but they also made it sound like they'd been to like in the history of the galaxy, or in the history of the universe, they had been to multiple galaxies. So maybe it's the original Dathomir, but I highly doubt that the way they made it sound was like they had been to multiple different galaxies, and they were kind of nomadic between those galaxies. So I find it hard to believe that it would be the original Dathomir. So
no,
I don't know.
I think they're just close.
Maybe like Alexander with Alexandria. Everywhere they land, they just call the planet Dathomir.
No, I know. I'm just talking about the original one, though. Like, it made it sound like they had traveled between galaxies a lot more than just between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, this is kind of one of the when she met Thrawn and all that stuff was probably one of the better parts of Sabine Wren, and I say that with what's the word?
Look, I want to look regarding Sabine. I don't know what your guys' problems are. I think she's been brilliant throughout this whole show. I don't think she's annoying whatsoever. I like her. I like the arc that she's going through. They're not Mary suing her. She's already a Mandalorian, which is why she was able to take care of some of those guys earlier. And she knows how to wield the lightsaber, but she's not obviously one with the Force. They've teased it a couple of times here and there. I'm liking this character a lot. I have no issues with Sabine Wren whatsoever. I am 100% team Sabine Wren. I'm enjoying her journey so far. It's good fun, and she makes mistakes. Like, she fucking could have ended the war by destroying the fucking map, but no, she gave in to Balin's fucking manipulation. And now shit could be even worse with Thrawn's gonna fucking come back.
He had to do, Balin had to do was wave his hand and say, because I mean, Mandalorians aren't immune to the Force influence, right?
No,
they're not
but still, like she's a bit more wiser, and she's got a little bit of training under her belt. So but regardless, she's not necessarily weak minded, and that's why he had to convince her, and he did. She's not this perfect Mary Sue character that a lot of people fucking complain about when it comes to women in
I
anything.
never said she
You
was a
know,
Mary
so-
Sue.
Nobody's talking about the Mary Sue's not the issue. She's just an annoying character in this.
I
I'm
don't
not
see
You
it.
annoyed
don't find
by
her
her.
annoying.
I
That's
like her.
absolutely fine, dude. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
You know?
I only found her annoying in like the first episode or two, just because she was more like, I'm obviously going to do this opposite thing that's the smart thing, or the thing that's not the smart thing to do. Like I hate it when they do that with characters where they're like, well, I could really do this. This is really smart to stay here, but I'm just going to go back to my place where I'm
exactly.
in the wide open and can get
Carried over.
Yeah,
for
like
me.
I just
Yeah.
thought that she was stupid for doing that. Like
I don't
But
think she realized the situation that she was in. Regarding
She
Dark
needs to
Jedi's
be a
coming
bit
after her.
smarter
and stuff.
with it. She's
But-
not a
But
bit dumb.
yeah, but she's not just like your
Yeah.
average Mandalorian, right? Like she did things with she knows to trust Ahsoka and to trust all of those characters because they had been on the Rebels adventure together. So for Ahsoka to say, "Hey, it's really better if you leave this thing here," like, I'm tangenting, but so you know what I mean. Like she should at least, even though they've got like a past, she should still listen to Ahsoka because this is what Ahsoka's been doing for years.
Yeah,
if anything,
it's about understanding
yeah,
greater
yeah.
good. The greater good is not to fucking get to Thrawn or Ezra. Sometimes you just got to make that sacrifice unless you really, really want to jump his bones, in which case you can. But just because he's a mate and you want to travel that way to get a mate, it's just like, no, there's a greater good involved. So these kind of things have just painted her as a bit of a twat. So yeah.
So, well, I mean, she obviously gets sent out, and that's something we've seen in Star Wars before, where the hero or the good guys think they've escaped, when reality is the bad guys are just chasing them. We get our first cutesy moment in this Star Wars. I forgot, that we were supposed to get something like that. And in a way, look, a lot of people complain about the cutesy moments in Star Wars, but sometimes it's almost compulsory. And in today's episode, we got it. I'm sure there'll be toys being sold of these things shortly, but we got crab people. Looks like humans, but talks like crab people.
They're hermit crab Jawas. I feel like hermit crab Jawas. Like that's what Jawas look like underneath like the cloaks. Like they traveled all the way to the main galaxy, and then they couldn't find any shells like they did back in the other galaxy, so they just started wearing hoods. Because if you look at them, like look at their eyes the way they are and everything, like it's kind of lines up. That's what I was looking at. I'm like, is that what the Jawas look like? I know that they've actually really I know you can actually see what Jawas look like if you like look it up online, but I'm just like headcanon right there. Those
you can also look. You can see what Tusken Raiders look like
right there.
And yeah, but yeah. So we see them. They come out. The dog. I mean, after she has a fight, by the way, against those samurai aliens, which look pretty cool. The dog fucking licks this rock, and then this fucking geezer comes out of it, and he's wearing clothes and shit, which is hilarious. I think that's a way of defining them as sentient creatures that are not animals with the clothes. Like, this is not like a animal.
Yeah.
This is a fucking. Right. This is a being. An intelligent creature that has clothes on. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then we get to try to communicate and stuff like that. It does amaze me once they do communicate, and obviously it's over the rebel symbol, and we get back to the camp and we see Ezra. But it does make me think, hold on, Ezra's been on this planet this entire fucking time, and this genius of a fucking tactician who had 10 years to find him couldn't find him in those 10 fucking years with all the fucking tech and all the fucking people that he's got. Are you fucking kidding me? I found that a bit hard to believe.
Just fucking yeah. This is what it just all falls apart here. This is where the whole thing just falls apart for me. The whole episode just goes to shit because Ezra has been on that fucking planet for What? How many years is it since the fall of the rebellion? When is this set? Is this set?
Well, he's been there for a decade.
Which
He's
is
been on
10
that
years.
planet for
Right?
a
Yeah,
decade.
Yeah,
10 years.
yeah.
10
The
years.
end of Rebels
Right.
was at the very beginning of Episode 4. So however long it's been through Episode 4, 5, and 6, and then probably a couple years because of the Mandalorian and all that other stuff has kind of passed since then. I don't know what the timeline is, but I mean, I would
think
say
it's 10 years
probably
after,
anywhere.
after the fall of the Empire.
I think
Yeah, you got
5 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it 5 years? Sorry.
So I think we're looking anywhere between like 7 to 10 years it's been since Ezra has left. Like since that, because I know that Ezra and Thrawn went with the Purgle whales or whatever right before Episode 4, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
it like
right before.
It was actually happened at the same time as Rogue One, I think, wasn't it?
So it's around about so it's about 8 years that they've been there. Then if Mandalorian is 5 years. But then a few years might have passed in that year. God knows. Let's just say fucking 8
No,
to 10.
I heard it was 10 years in somewhere in the dialogue, So
Okay. So yeah, 10 years.
They're rounding.
10 years
Yeah.
on that planet, not very far from Thrawn either. And they never found him. They didn't know if he was dead. Or they send her out to go and find Ezra like they couldn't find him.
And she just finds him.
And she just finds him.
It's the Force.
Straight away.
Damn it. It's the Force. It works. Her midichlorians help
Gosh.
lead her to.
Absolute. They got to a point of the story and they were just like, oh, fuck it. Whatever. He's there. There he is. Right there. It's like when you look away for a second and turn back and Batman's gone. It's the opposite with Ezra. It's like you turn away, it's like, oh, you've been there the whole time. Yeah, or when Kenny came back in South Park, it's like, oh, hey, Kenny, hey, where you been? Oh, I've just been hanging out. It's like that kind of vibe. It's so frustrating.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm kind of glad it's over. Like because hey, look, we found him. Oh, thank God. That's finally we can just shut up about it.
Yeah, that's a positive.
In the writing,
all right, he's there. Let's just get on with it.
Looks like
in the writing, it would have been much more better. It would have been much better if he was just been a prisoner for these last 10 years. It would have been much better if they did
I
that.
agree.
Because it was him and they all went together. I mean, he was on that ship, on that fucking Star Destroyer. How the fuck did he get off it and all that bollocks? On his own. Ridiculous. So yeah, that's personally. But all right, fair enough. We're gonna go with this. Ezra now looking like fucking Aladdin. You know what I mean? Yeah, he even dressed like fucking Aladdin and shit.
Beard.
I guess so. I mean, I was just expecting his fucking carpet to come and then him and Sabine flying around going, the whole new world and all that sort of shit.
Like his old master had as well. So
yeah, they mentioned I never really until other reviewers mentioned this. I never knew that he looked like his dad, but I can definitely see the resemblance now.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. And obviously Balin and Shin.
His dad, what are you talking
Sorry?
about?
It's not his dad.
No, he looks like his dad. There's a picture of his dad in Star Wars Rebels. With having his beard and shit like that. No, not Kanan.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, yeah.
His dad.
Yeah, yes, sorry.
Yeah,
I forgot the flashbacks.
So it's gonna be interesting to see because I do feel that they are going to be betrayed by Thrawn because obviously Thrawn has no love for Jedi's, even old Jedi's. So he's going to fucking stab Balin in the back.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think Balin's going to
again.
get killed there, and then that's going to be his. Then the Padawan's going to kind of, I don't want to say turn to the light side, but I think that's where she's going to kind of be like, fuck this noise, and then she's going to like start killing Thrawn's people, and then she's kind of going to join the good guys. But
just leave them there.
Well,
they got what they needed. They know where to go now. Just leave them there. They're all gone.
Yeah, exactly. They don't. Yeah.
Obviously, they don't know Ahsoka's on the way, but
no, they did at the end. They did at the end of the episode.
Oh yes, you're right.
Yeah, they did at the end. So, but yeah, they yeah. So all of that, but they are busy at this moment in time, loading up the ship with fucking carcasses and God knows fucking what, ready for the fucking big return back. So yeah, but
they're gonna make New Orleans like crab stew and that.
well, I'm thinking I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried. Like, are they gonna like Ewok the crab people and make them fucking defeat Thrawn's fucking military?
No.
It's gonna be like Ant-Man Quantumania. Like all of a sudden, like Ezra's gonna bring like all of the like hermit crab people in, and it's gonna be this flood of hermit crabs, and Thrawn's gonna be like, no, like it's the blue face. They lose to like bug people. That's how it goes.
This is what I do agree.
They do that.
Thrawn is coming out on top of this series. Yeah, I do believe without a doubt that Thrawn is going to be victorious. I
don't think they're going to do a Thrawn movie, though. I honestly don't.
Well, I don't think Thrawn is losing. That's for sure.
No,
I think he's coming at the victor. He needs to be. He needs to be seen as the fucking badass. And I think we're going to get a death. Who that may be? I mean, you know how it is. You know, if the bad guys win, then one of the good guys has to die, like it was in fucking Infinity War when we lost not only fucking Gamora, but we also lost fucking Vision as well.
Maybe the robot gets hacked, but they're not going to kill off Sabine, Ezra, or Ahsoka.
I don't know. It makes me wonder.
Bailey and Hottie.
Yeah. I mean, I know this sounds horrible, but I hope Balin dies just because that's.
But that'll be the end of his character.
Come to an end.
Yeah.
We don't his best ever roles.
Yeah, and the full circle will be there of Balin's character. You know, it's not like they have to recast and we have to pretend like Ray Stevenson was. You know what I mean? Like, I get it if they have to.
Well, they are teasing his higher power.
Completes his journey, then that'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they are teasing this higher power and stuff like that. And regarding Hottie, she's
I don't think
both Ray Stevenson and her are supposed to be these people who are in the middle. They're not necessarily dark side or light side. But if he does get killed, by being backstabbed, I think that'll make Hottie turn more to the dark side, not to the light side. You know what I mean? It'll piss her off. I mean, she's already got a fucking edge to her as it is. And
I didn't say go to the light side. I just said that she was going to join the good guys for that moment. You know, like enemy of my enemy is my friend at this point type thing.
Yeah.
Great. I don't know. I mean, me personally, I think that I don't want Balin to die because I want to see more of that character, but it's going to need it to be cast properly. You know what I mean? And that's something that...
Or his face blows off and he ends up in a mask.
Yeah,
even if he's recast, they can kind of modulate it in a way.
Yeah, but they're going to have to fucking know, we know Ray Stevenson's going to die. We know Ray Stevenson's going to die in not too long distance in the future. So we better fucking damage his face and put him in the mask.
No, they probably won't do it in this, but off-cam Pam kind of thing. They can, off-cam.
All I know is if they recast, they need to race swap. That's all I'm saying is that
absolutely. Got to make him Asian.
Mm-hmm.
How about Russell Crowe?
No, he's. Have you seen what Russell Crowe looks like? No.
What? Who?
A beach whale. He looks like
that's exactly what it looks like. I mean,
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Yeah, he's let himself go a little bit.
Yeah, he's more Jabba the Hutt than Balin.
I mean, the guy's had a pretty big career, so I mean, let him go. You know, like
Russell's like awesome, man. Just
I was about to say, let him be Jabba, and because he's getting older, he deserves the.
Okay, mate, he doesn't care.
Okay, Ron Perlman.
No,
too old, too American. It's got to be British.
All right, is it going to racial swap here? All right, Idris Elba. There you go.
I mean, I love it.
There you go.
I loved it. Give Idris just a big beard, and that would be great.
Yeah, he turns around and is like, "Did you get a haircut,
Master?"
it's like what they did in
no. He's gonna be like, "No."
She's like, "You look different now. Did you get your hair done?" Is that kind of?
No, he's gonna be like, I'm leaning a little bit more to the dark side now.
Oh yes,
That's woke squadron humor for you guys. Yeah.
that's right. That's
I'm
right.
really trying to think of an actor who could do it. It's unfortunate that God, the guy who plays Vision, that actor, what's his name again?
Paul Bettany?
Paul Bettany.
Yeah,
I don't
it's a
think
shame.
I don't
It's a shame. No, but he's already been in Star Wars, so it's a shame that
who cares? I mean,
Oh, nobody cares about Solo.
yeah. I mean,
you can
yeah,
beard him up. You can beard him up. He's got the height. Yeah, I mean he's a tall
yeah, but he
guy.
doesn't have like the girth. Like he doesn't have like the like
Yeah, but he
Ray
can do that.
Stevens, man,
It's just-
he's thick and he's tall and
yeah,
he's like
yeah.
He looks like he should be like a knight in one of those.
Well,
like,
I mean,
sort of
look,
movies.
look, when you saw Paul Bettany as Vision, I mean, he looked a lot more solid than I could ever imagine him to be.
If they replace him with the what's his name? Kevin McLeod, who was his hetero life mate in Rome, that would be perfect. It's not the right casting choice, but it's just
sweet justice.
it's just full circle, baby. Both their careers kicked off because of that series, and they kind of
Douglas Hodge.
Eh?
Who the hell is Douglas Hodge? Someone fucking Google that shit.
Oh,
Go on, Cheeto. Put it on the screen, Douglas Hodge.
Sorry, I'm busy.
I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it on the screen. 1 second.
no. He's 63.
No, he looks
Oh
too
my
much
God,
like a melted
no.
rabbit.
He looks like he's melting.
Yeah.
No.
No, that I think what's his name? Fucking hell, Clive Owen. I think Clive Owen is a good.
Clive Owen's a very good one.
Same demeanor, same height. I think could easily do it.
Oh, yeah. How old is he though?
The point is that
Rachel-
no one
same age.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
there's one actor I'm thinking of, but I don't know his name. I'm just gonna find him now. I know what he's been in.
Yeah,
He's been in
he's
the
around
feature.
about the same age.
Where is he? Oh, Ralph Ineson. There we go. Ralph Ineson. I'll spell it for you. You guys can Google that. This guy. I like this guy.
Is. The guy from The Office.
Not sure, but here he.
Oh
here
no,
he is. I'm
no,
putting it in
no,
chat.
God, no. No,
No,
not
that's his name.
That's
Google it.
Finch, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
I think this guy's awesome,
Hey,
man.
bloody, Sith, like, got to kill them. Innit? No, I like the actor. He's very one note.
He can. I saw him in The Legend of Back Advance, and he did a good American accent and stuff like that.
Doesn't need an American accent.
No, but the point is, I think he could do like a good, like more like Southern accent, English accent. That is, not a I know he's a Northerner, but like if you've seen GoldenEye, like fucking, fucking Northern fucking, what's his face? Sean Bean played the posh kid pretty well, in that, so
Sean Bean is. Oh, there you go. Sean Bean will be a great.
Sean Bean would be a great replacement.
Sean Bean will be perfect, and he can die in it as well. Because that's what Sean Bean does. So
64.
there you go.
He's a bit old. Yeah, I mean,
64 is he?
He's 6 years older than Ray Stevenson.
That's all right.
I don't know how tall he is. Is he a 6-footer?
Yeah. He's a tall lad.
Yeah,
Not as tall as Ray, but you can get away with it.
Yeah, fair enough. So,
yeah, well, there you go. Let's not dwell on it too much, but there you go.
Yeah,
Clive Owen
was in sit. Yeah.
Oh, Sean Bean.
Ooh,
So-
yeah, that guy's got like a voice like he smoked 12 cigarettes a day, but it's like smooth like honey. Oh,
Yeah, that's where his strength lies, is in the voice acting.
Yeah.
He's a good actor, but it's just he doesn't have the presence to do Balin. Clive Owen and Sean Bean definitely would.
Okay, well, look. Regarding the last two episodes of the show, now we're gonna eventually get some sort of conflict. And I think everything's gonna happen in this section of space until the very end, where I think Thrawn's gonna end up taking that space ring back to his original galaxy. I do feel Ahsoka and the gang might be left in that part of space, but they'll get the Spurgle space wells to take him back to that galaxy anyway. So that's how they'll resolve that issue, in my opinion. But what do you guys think is going to happen now in the last two episodes?
Well, all the action will take place in maybe the next episode, and then the first 5 minutes of the final episode, and then we get a bunch of bullshit tying up for the rest of the final episode.
It's just all the main characters standing around in a circle saying, "I've got this. That's
it.
I've got this."
Yeah, I think there'll be a scuffle, and then it should result, in theory, with Thrawn getting back to his galaxy.
Agreed.
For sure. Because that's the whole point. The whole point of this, like, because this is all the next couple of shows are all connected together to do with Thrawn. So either way, it happens that he gets back. I would love it if Sabine, Ahsoka, Robot Dickhead, and Blue Eyes landed there. That would be great. And so Thrawn is back there, and then you get, like, you know, the kind of what do you call her? Hera kind of dealing with it, with Thrawn's return or something like that.
I think we're done with Hera.
Dies, like, if she dies, kind of trying to stop Thrawn, I thought that would be awesome.
Hera dying would be a worthy death, and then somebody has to look after a kid. Yeah, I mean, which will probably be Sabine.
But I think that would be
at the temple and then gets killed by Kylo Ren. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Tragedy after tragedy, very Greek.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a big swing, but do you think I think they might kill Ezra. Like, they're not really playing. I felt like they kind of underplayed his return to the point where it's like, it's not that important. And I know that Thrawn's supposed to be the important one, but at the same time, it's like, I wonder if they're going to sacrifice Ezra to make a statement as to how, because, you know,
I don't mind
for Thrawn's ultimate victory.
I don't mind
if that's the catalyst that fucking pushes Sabine to kind of become less of an annoying twat. Then I'm all for it, because it works. You know.
Well, I mean, now she's got Ezra. Hopefully, she'll become less annoying.
That's what I think. I think Ezra's death is going to push Sabine, and honestly, then he can still come back. You got Force Ghost, like the actor can still come back in like future seasons, and be a Force Ghost. You know,
as long as he gives us a lot of exposition about this universe, then it's the only exposition I'll be happy to get. Like, just give us something. I don't want him being in the new galaxy and we just get fucking swamp planet. Get out my swamp planet, and then that's it. You know, I want more of this galaxy.
That's the thing with Alien World. I mean, you look at our planet, we have a fucking bit of everything on our planet, but every other planet in the universe in fiction is always the opposite. Is like the entire planet is a fucking sand.
Singular,
the entire planet,
environment. Yeah,
it drives me nuts. You know,
just one time I want them to show up to a trailer park, like, you know, a trailer park type planet, you know, just like everything's trailer park. Tornadoes and trailer parks everywhere.
And then you go up a bit of the planet and it's just like city landscape and all this.
By the way, thank you very much for reminding me. Myself and Gaz will be on that. You up to date with Quantum Leap, Gaz?
We watched it all, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We reviewed it. We watched it all.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah. Oh, here we go. Ryan Jelly Deals. Hey, sorry at work, just able to pop in and say, hey, I'll have you guys going in my ear until my manager sees the earbud. Laugh out loud. Yeah.
Make sure you hit that like button
Uh,
though before you go back to just budding in your ear.
Yeah.
Hit that like button.
And make sure you share. Make sure you share it to all the people on your Facebook as well.
Okay.
So
So
all right. Time to
I-
market, or you got anything more to say, boss man?
the only thing I would say is that I'm just glad that Ezra's here now. His actor was fine. It's just that I don't know. Sabine wasn't as annoying this episode as she's been in previous, so I'm just hoping
I
that's
want to see a love story as well between them two.
No,
God,
but
I hope
they mentioned you're like a sister to me. Remember
Each
that?
other's
That
asses
doesn't
or
really mean.
whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
I ain't a boomer. Yeah,
You
well,
know,
it's time to be a boomer.
Let the cougar eat the apprentice kind of thing.
Well, look, one thing I'm looking forward to is if Ezra does die, the neckbeards will lose their fucking shit. Look at all these women living and not dying and shit like that. And you bring back fucking Ezra Bridger and he's like beloved
hang on.
character rebels
Yeah,
and
look.
all that. Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
a text from a friend of mine who just watched Ahsoka. Let's see. Hang on. Let me go back. Where is it? Watching Ahsoka. Another bullshit women power bollocks agenda being rammed. That was it. That was his message.
For the love of God, like who?
Oh,
Yet the main villain is a guy. So I mean, it's like real life, you know.
Yeah, I just said to him, if you take that, I just said to him, you've got daughters, you know, and you don't want to see powerful women, but do you have no respect for your daughters? I go, that's fine.
look,
You know, okay, boomer.
all of this shit, all of this shit has come around recently when people wanted to make an issue of all of this shit. You know, like films like Charlie's Angels or when it was back to television series back in the day. They would have been hating on that. No one gives a fuck about that. The only reason I don't watch Charlie's Angels is because the films were shit. They were genuinely shit, but it's nothing to do with women. You know what I mean? They were just shit fucking movies. And no one ever blamed the fact that there was women in the films. They just blamed the fact that the film was shit. You know? Nowadays, you know, if a film is shit and it's got women in it, blame the fucking woman. You know what I mean? Blame the fucking ethnic minorities.
Woman in a movie
You know what I
playing
mean?
a fucking woman? Wait a minute. Man, we are really going woke now in Hollywood.
I mean, yeah, like if you can't, having women in anything nowadays apparently is woke. Like, like women weren't in other shit before. It's fucking ridiculous. Like Leia would have been seen as a fucking woke character back in the day, without a doubt, man. You know what I mean? But then, so all this stuff is just bollocks, man. It really
How
is.
dare she call Han Solo flyboy and a nerf herder?
Yeah. Exactly. So.
I mean, the thing is that the thing is, if it's a good story, it doesn't matter whether it's been done by whoever. It's a matter.
Look, let me tell you something. There's a group called the Fandom Initiative, which I'm trying to be part of. But the thing is that they all like supposed to be the opposite to the Fandom Menace, but they never really got going because people in that group, like myself, we're just too busy just watching things and being normal, and then noticing the crazy. We're not an actual opposite to the crazy. We just notice the crazy. And the crazy themselves, they're so fucking cult-like and fucking regimented with their fucking craziness, looking out for fucking anything and complaining about everything. It's very hard to be the opposite to them because the opposite to them is just being normal.
If you wanted to really be the opposite in terms of the ridiculousness, then you would be high praising all the like female characters and the diverse characters and then spitting out all the white people in it. That's the extreme side if you're going to be like satire, basically.
I guess. I mean, the thing with our group,
look at this scene. There's 4 black people and a white man. Because that's the kind of ridiculousness that these guys are like.
But fortunately, that sort of shit is not very prominent. But the craziness on the right regarding what they complain about, which is everything, is very prominent. And trying to be the opposite of that by just calling them out and laughing at them is fine for a while. But it's very hard to be constantly doing that because you just want to do other shit now and again.
Just want to be normal and talk normal shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Ryan Jelly Deal says personally, I think the series is getting better. I mean, it isn't Andor or anything, but it's okay. As to the powerful women thing, it doesn't feel like that to me, even though I'm close to most recent Witcher. Yeah, fair enough. And look, I don't really like to compare this to Andor. I think Andor was a breath of fresh air, which took Star Wars in a totally different direction. I think Ahsoka is more traditional Star Wars, but done right, and it's done a lot better. And I very much appreciate where we're going with the show. So I think it's now time, motherfuckers, to mark it. I'm going to start off with you, Ezra Diddler. What are you going to give this out of 10?
I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Ray Stevenson and Thrawn, basically, for me. The rest, and Sabine's action scene, I thought was great. But yeah, that's it, really. The rest was just, a lot of silly bits. So 6 out of 10. Let's just say that.
Yeah, Zamamala, yeah. Cheeto.
I'm probably going to give it a 7. I mean, again, I like the episode overall. Still pretty positive marks. But I don't know. It wasn't. Maybe I'll go with a 6. I don't know. I just didn't want to copy Ginger.
Be like me, baby.
But it didn't blow me away. But it was not. But it wasn't bad per se. As I said, my issue with Mickelson and Thrawn is not like breaking. Like a breaking thing.
Deal breaker.
Deal breaker. And I mean, I did love I love the aesthetic of the Star Destroyer, like being all just like damaged from the end of Rebels and just being repaired. And I liked a lot of the aesthetic, and I did like the fact that Ray Stevens just keeps on knocking it out of the park, and that just makes it even worse for me. So I'll stick with my 7, a generous 7, as we call it.
Gary.
I'm going to give it a 7 as well, because I thought the last episode and this episode were the two best ones in my opinion, because I love the gravitas of Thrawn and I love the shape. It's just that it just didn't feel like it really progressed the story that much. I mean, like, I thought with Thrawn being here, it would be really impetus for going forward, but it didn't really feel that way. I don't know. There just felt like something missing, but there was really good stuff in this anyway.
I actually enjoyed this episode quite a lot. The reveals were pretty good. We had some Star Warsy moments in this, which some people might cringe. In a way, kind of, but then I appreciated it because it is Star Wars. It was like that under George Lucas, for fuck's sake, back in the day in the original trilogy. I think the lore was pretty good, and it was set up for bigger and better things. Hopefully, in the last 2 episodes, I thought this was a decent episode. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, and the fact that it had very little action in it is a service to this episode. Not Star Wars doesn't always need action; it just needs a decent story, and I thought we got that, and some revelations and maybe some new avenues opening up regarding this other power that Balin is talking about, which we shouldn't forget about. So we'll see how all this pans out.
Mephisto. I feel like that's going to be a Mephisto. I really feel like that.
What's that?
I think it's going to be a Mephisto. I think that he's the power that I'm sensing. Can't you feel it? The calling. Like, I don't think it's going to turn out to be anything. I think that it's just Balin feeling his calling to bring balance to whatever.
Well, whatever it may be, Yuuzhan Vong or God knows what. Yeah. I'm hoping if it doesn't get resolved this season, it gets resolved eventually. It doesn't. I think we're too far into this season for maybe whatever he's talking about to necessarily come to fruition this season. There's a lot to deal with, in my opinion. So, but we'll see. We'll see what goes on. So, yeah. Talking points galore, theories. Who knows? Maybe Enoch is fucking Star Killer. And we don't forget Enoch, and never forget that guy, because there's always these unique stormtroopers, which is also a prominent thing in Star Trek as well.
Zach.
And hopefully this one will be one of the better ones.
Star Killer.
Yeah,
people need to stop with.
I know. I'm taking the piss. I'm taking the piss. You know what I mean? But okay.
I was gonna say that's as bad as my apocalypse theory,
That's nowhere near as bad as your apocalypse theory.
All right. Let's bring this to an end. Let's not go off on tangents. We've been on for an hour.
The Balin line comes from the books, but sorry, that's my car, not my meds. The book was spoken by Palpatine. Fair enough. All right. So thank you very much, you guys, for joining. This was a good discussion. Can't wait to see the next episode. I'm having a lot of fun with this particular show. We'll be back tomorrow talking about Star Trek. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Thank you, fellas, and bye-bye, everyone. Live long and prosper.